AITAH for wanting to break up with my GF after her potentially lying about being sexually assaulted. I'm not sure if this is the right subreddit to post this on, but I'm not sure where to start. Also, this may be long, but all details matter. For context, me and my GF's relationship has been very rocky, and I have put up with way more than most people should. I'm not saying I'm a perfect partner by any means, but she has mentally exhausted me. And whenever I mention ending things, she begs for me back, I feel bad, and try to work on it some more. Which now just feels like a vicious cycle. I don't want to go into too much detail about her ways, but she has had a history of lying to me about petty things, going through my phone, all apps included. Even mine and my ex's past Instagram chats from 4 years ago. And the last time I tried to really end things, she attempted to harm herself because she just wanted me to pay attention to her. She has a 6-year-old son that I adore, and I have been putting him on the bus for her almost every day for school for the past 2 years almost. I hate to never see him again, but I'm at my wit's end. So here's how the story starts. Around 3 weeks ago on a Friday we got into another fight about because she was upset that I didn't pay enough attention to her while we were at a public outing with coworkers, which was just not true. The fight gets more petty. I ask for space to let me chill out, and she won't, essentially starts to dare me into ending it, saying it like, if you're going to do it then. So finally I say that's it. Doesn't go well, but we can skip all that. Fast forward to that Saturday, she says Shush is sleeping at her sister's and that she will be back later for her ID because she plans on going out with some friends. I wait all day and she never shows up. Around 10 p.m. she texts me a jumbled up message saying she doesn't feel good. I respond asking if Shush is okay, but no response. Around 12:30 am that night she calls me crying asking her if I can come pick her up. I ask where she is and if Shush is okay, and she just keeps apologizing over and tells me Shush is at our local hospital. I get there and Shush is just walking along the sidewalk in front of the emergency room entrance, exit. I ask what happened and she says that she doesn't remember the last few hours and believes she was drugged, and that she was sad but doesn't remember by who at a club she was at with her friends. That her friends found her in a bathroom stall and called an Uber for her to take her home, but Uber decided to take her to hospital instead. She said she reported it to the hospital and a detective. But when I picked her up there was no police in sight. I asked where her friends were for witnesses and she said that she isn't telling them and that she's no longer speaking to them anymore. I'm in shock hearing this, and I'm now doing my best to console her. But when I asked her where the police went she said they already left. I thought that was strange. I also thought it was strange that the hospital let her leave after a report like that. In our state, detectives have to give you a card as soon as a report happens on scene, and a case number. When I ask her about her card so we call the detective the next day, she doesn't know what I'm talking about. She had no paperwork or anything with her. Also, I remember she never came and got her ID. So when I asked how she got into the club, and said that she used her younger friend's ID, and that the friend used her older sister's ID. Which was baffling to me. Don't get me wrong, I'm concerned for my GF. But now something feels off. I tell her we can just try to work through our stuff to get her mind off of it all. She also was wanting to have sex with me the next day, which was also stranger to me. I ask about possible STDs and she says she already got tested at the hospital, even though I was under the impression it took about a week to get results back. I start to ask more about updates from the detective and medical stuff throughout the week. What H's found or what drugs they found in her system. And she shuts me down every time saying she doesn't want to talk about it and how she will do it on her own, and that the only other person is her mom that knows. Eventually she gets upset and tells me it's none of my business and to drop it. The last she told me about it was that there was more to what happened that she didn't tell me about, and she will tell me at the right time. She sends me a screenshot of an email from said detective and then unsends it from our messages, which I also thought was weird. Now I'm in full inquisitive mode at this point because now I'm even more concerned. I have a few friends that are in law enforcement in my city and ask them if they could pull up the report and get me in contact with the detective so I can ask him about what happened. Maybe I'm not allowed to do this, but I was very concerned and was trying to figure out who she was with that night to try and figure something out. But what I ended up learning is the complete opposite of what I thought I'd find. There were no reports or case files under my GF's name under that detective, which by the way is a real detective, for SA case. My contacts think it was super weird that there was nothing reported for something like that, especially for how it was handled at the hospital. The last report under that detective from her was in 2022 from some drama with her ex that I vaguely remember. So now I'm in complete shock, that there is a possibility she has been lying about this whole thing to keep me from leaving. I finally questioned her about it last night calmly, asking her if she can tell me how the night went again. She immediately gets defensive and saying making her talk about it will make her relive her trauma and refuses. So I tell her she doesn't have to tell me about the assault, and just when she got to the hospital. Now she's getting really defensive and becoming extremely emotional, and demands to know what I know before telling me anything. So I tell her what I know, and that I need an explanation. Now she is saying the story has completely changed, as I will lay out here. She never went to a club, she went to a house party apparently instead, and that's why she didn't need her ID. She didn't get sent home in an Uber, she called a dude who she knows has a huge thing for her to pick her up and take her to the hospital. She didn't end up reporting a rape at the hospital, and apparently she still had the detective's contact info and personally reported it to him the next day, even though she told me she talked to him that night. Also, her mom doesn't actually know anything and she was scared to tell her as well. So now I feel like I'm just getting caught up in what seems to be a bunch of lying for no reason, and she claims it's because she was scared of how I would react. Which doesn't make any sense. She starts saying I'm a monster for going behind her back and looking into it. She said she had already shown me the email. AITA pulls out the screenshot again, so I said let me see it in your inbox, not a screenshot. And she refuses over and over to show me, which is about all the proof I might need at this point. She threatens that if she shows me then we are done. I ignore it and tell her I still want to see. She still won't do it, now calling me a liar because she knows there should be a report and thinks I'm making up that there is no report just to find an excuse to leave her. And that she warned me about to look into it, and it will be my fault, our relationship will fail. Now getting angry saying I'm breaking up because she got raped and that I just randomly don't believe her, completely ignoring all the other evidence I just heard. She then tells me she will show me from a distance, because she is scared I will take her phone out of her hand like her ex used to do, which is completely bull. I have never put my hands on her like that in the 2 years we have been together. Also, I told her to just type in the detective's name since she seemed to have trouble finding it. I even offered to put my hands behind my back, and she still runs away from me, hiding her phone screen 3 times before finally I was fed up, told her she was out of chances. I decided to go for a walk with her, begging me to come back, but I was done. None of this seemed right, and from how it all looks to me she is hiding something. She has been begging me not to leave her, and swears on her son's life she was assaulted, but I don't know how to even progress from here. I told her I'd think about it for now just to calm things down and get her to leave me alone, but my mental is waning as we speak. TLDR, broke up with my GF and claims she was SA'd the next day, but lied about filling a police report about it.